Y'all want to hear another story about a time I chose psychological warfare instead of violence? Let's go back some years. I was dating this guy, and this is about the time I found out he was cheating on me. So we're in bed. He's asleep, I'm awake. I've never been the type of girl that goes through my man phone. Ever. His phone went off. Like, he had a text message, and it started buzzing because he had it on silent. Let me tell you, the phone came to me. It started buzzing, and it was like, zzz, zzz. Phone damn near jumped on my lap. The universe wanted me to know what was going on. So I pick up the phone to put it back over by him, and he had it to where, like, the banner pops up. You know, you don't have to open the text message. And it says, "Are you on this side of the town yet? Because I need some." Excuse me? When I tell you, phone to the dome. He woke up like, "Hey, what's going on?" You sleeping with this girl? Now, this is not the first time I've seen this girl's name. There was another time, months and months before, he mentioned her for some reason. I can't remember. Anyways, and it was just something about her name at that time. Like, I've heard different names, male, female, like, it did not matter. But in that instant, it was like, it just sent something to my spidey senses. And I put that name on the shelf. Some didn't feel right. It's from this girl. So he's like, "What?" I was like, "You sleeping with this girl? Like, what she mean? He was like, "Not that. I know that's not what she mean." So I'm like, "Okay, call her." He's like, "Right now?" "Yes, right now. She texts you right now. Call her." And he's like, "I don't think that's a good idea." "Why not?" "Because a lot of women be crazy. A lot of women be on bullshit all the time. And who knows what she's gonna say. She should say what she called for." He's like, "Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know that. Like, women like to play games and say little things to, call her and put it on speakerphone. And don't say nothing weird. I don't want to hear no subliminals, nothing. Just call her." He like, "Okay, but I'm warning you. You probably don't want to do this." I've never wanted to do anything more in my life. So he give her a call on speakerphone, and she answered, and she's like, "Hey." He like, "Yeah, what's up?" She like, "Nothing. I'm here with my cousin. We was wondering if you was around because we want some spinach." And he was like, "Nah, I ain't even around right now. I'm on the other side of town." She was like, "Oh, all right, bye." And he's like, "All right, cool. You good?" She like, "Yeah." He like, "All right, peace out." They get off the phone. He like, "See, you always tripping." I'm like, I don't think I am. "You sleeping with this girl?" He's like, No, I've never slept with her." It's the way he said, "I've never slept with her," let me know that he's playing the game of semantics. I said, "Okay, so have you done anything with her that you would not want me to know about? Anything with her that if I found out, I would flip my shit? Have you touched her or she touched you in any schmexual way?" And his little cheeks got a little rosy. And he was like, "Well, she did give me some once or twice." I'm like, "And you think that's cool? Like, where?" He's like, "In a car." "In my car?" He like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Get dressed." He's like, "Why?" "Get dressed and then call her and tell her we're coming over." He's like, "What? No, see, see, you also, no, I'm not on anything. Because she know we're together, right? She know about me." He's like, "Yeah, and you guys chose to do this behind my back. Do it in my face." He's like, "You're insane. You're insane. No, nobody's gonna do that." Okay, well then we're not gonna be together." He's like, "What? If I did that in your face, you gonna break up with me anyways." You don't know that. But what you do know is that if you don't, I am definitely going to break up with you. Because I feel like if you're bold enough to do this behind my back and you're bold enough to do this in my car, be bold enough to do it in my face. And then we'll deal with what happens after that. He was visibly shook. He was like shaking. So he had to call her back, tell her that I knew what happened and that we were coming over there. So we pull up to in front of her house. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of the car. He gets out. He's chain smoking. Like he on death row. Nervous as ever. She come on my side to say hello. Jump scare. When I tell you, she literally, I was thinking in my mind that this girl was going to be so beautiful. Like, that's why he was willing to risk it all. Like, she was just so beautiful that his flesh could not resist the temptation. You cheated on me with Quasimodo? You cheated on me with the Hunchback of Notre Dame? First off, nothing against tall girlies, but she was 6'6". This little bitty ass car. Girl, how you even fit in there? But anyways, so I'm like, how you doing? My name is, she's like, yeah, I know. He talks about you all the time. And she's like, and I've been wanting to meet you for the longest because actually I like girls and I don't care what you like. What I like is vengeance. So here's how this is going to go down. Now, she was all for it. He was about to throw up. He was just like, no, like, I don't, like, you're never going to look at me the same. And the whole time, that was the plan. Because sometimes I'm going to need to hate you right off rip. And I already knew that I wanted to be done. And this was going to solidify it for me. So anyways, we went to our old house because we were in transition of moving. And me and her in a room, I'm like on my phone playing Candy Crush. She's sitting there waiting and he's in the other room drinking, like getting drunk, trying to like get his mind. It took him 2 hours to come in there. It took him 2 hours to come in there. And when he came in there, he looked like he was about to cry.
Put a finger down if you were dating this guy and he walked into your life and he was quite literally everything that you have been waiting for. Truly had you questioning, God, is this you? Did you put this guy in my life? He displayed every quality that I had been looking for. He was like nice. He was emotionally intelligent. He was understanding and listened and was attentive. He had a good relationship with the Lord. He just, he was funny. So many things, right? Yeah, he was great. And then one day, as in yesterday, he got a little drunk and we got home and he decided, I'm gonna just pop 2 gummies. Oh, are you? Okay. Pop 2 gummies. Also, when I got home from work, he had like a display of like things he bought me with like rose petals and like a candle and wine glasses and like got me some takeout. I got in and I was like, that's sus, like that's sweet, right? Obviously. But my intuition was like, what did this man do? What is he trying to compensate for? And I've had an intuition, like a feeling in my gut that something about this man wasn't right. But he was so great that I just chalked it up to like my trauma, my overthinking, right? So I was like, you need to just trust this man. Wrong. Never trust a man. Don't ever trust a man. So anyway, we got here. He popped 2 gummies. He was out of his gosh darn mind. And he kept going on about, and I was sitting there, I'm completely sober, I just got home from work, right? He kept going on about, babe, I need to tell you something. Babe, now would be a perfect time to tell you. And then he wouldn't finish the sentence. I was like, tell me what? Like, what are you hiding? Like, my mind went there. I was like, what are you trying to hide? It was almost like he was like outing himself and then like realizing, oh my gosh, this is Shannon, I'm talking to my girlfriend right now, and then like dialed it back in, right? Yeah, so that was happening. I eventually put him to bed. He slept on the couch. I went into my room, grabbed his phone, and sat in my room for 4 hours on his phone. I'll explain. As I was going through his phone, I got in there with his password, I realized that I'm really not coming across anything because you went into messages, deleted messages, there was nothing there. I went into like search history, that was all cleared out. He had like an app for like hidden apps, and I got into that, there was nothing in there. And I was like, this man's really trying to like cover something up. Like the fact that he went to extreme lengths to like make shit disappear, right? Yeah, so I decided, I was like, there's something. I'm gonna find something because I don't delete stuff off my phone. Like, I'm a normal human being. And so I went to TikTok and I was like, hey TikTok, like, how do you get into a man's phone? What to look for when you're going through your man's phone? Found some good stuff, did I? Yeah, lots of good tips and tricks. So basically you go into messages, deleted messages, there's an archive. You do this on like your settings. There's an archive button. Went into that. You need his password, so hopefully you know your man's password. You go into that, and I found just one text. So obviously he was like clearing out his archive, right? But this one he missed. It was a text from Bumble. Hey, your activation code is 7 whatever. From Monday, a couple days ago. Right before he came to my house. So yeah, he downloaded Bumble, deleted that. I went into search history. There's like an archive button for that. Went into that. I left at 2 o'clock yesterday to go into work. He stayed here. He's gonna cook dinner, have like a little date night in the house, right? Literally no less than 20 minutes after I left for work, he was searching porn. And we have something in our relationship where we had already discussed that, and I was like, there's no place for porn in a relationship. Like, I am not that girl. Nope. So, and he agreed, right? He agreed. So yeah, several sites in my house, on my couch, or in my bed. Yeah. And not only were they, regular, it was granny with young boy, it was MILF, it was GILF, it was some odd topics. Clearly he's got some mommy issues is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so went through that, went through his app store. On the icon, you can click the picture. There, and in that there's like purchase history and then hidden purchase history. And you needed like his iCloud password for the purchase history, or yeah, that. So I was like, crap, I don't even know what that would be. So I went into his password app, and it asked for a Face ID like 3 times, and obviously my Face ID was declined. But then after the 3rd time, you can like prompt it to like put in your regular password. So I put that in, got in there. Some of the websites and apps that he has had on his phone are passwords for apps on his phone. Tinder, Reddit was on there. I've heard some good stuff about Reddit that I need to check that. So we'll carry that on. But Reddit, Grindr, yeah. Tinder, OnlyFans, another site that he paid a subscription for. All kinds of stuff. But anyway, I found the password for his iCloud, and I went into the purchase history, whatever, and I found that he had purchased Bumble Premium 3 days ago. I saw that he purchased Grindr and Tinder Premium. Grindr. Yeah. He's straight. Let me get that. Yeah, he's straight. And not only that, like there was like a hidden purchase, and you can see there was like a Latino dating website. There was several other dating websites that I haven't seen. There was a transgender dating site, Grindr, obviously, and a few other, Cougar app, like cougars, dating for cougars. Yeah. And I'm not here to like judge you or offend you in any way, okay? I'm just saying that was never discussed in our relationship. Yeah, so found that. I decided to get a little ballsy and go to his navigation app, and one frequent thing stop that I was seeing on there was a thing called Adam and Eve. I don't know what that is. Had to look it up because I'm a good girl. Looked it up. It's a sex shop. Yeah. Not only is it that, it's just like, where are they? Like, we don't do that in our relationship. So like, who are you using that stuff with? And then you're using that stuff with somebody else and then coming here and yeah. I need to go to the OBGYN. Yeah, so all of that. And then I got into his Reddit from like the passwords. And some of his searches were actually had me spiraling. It is some hardcore, not okay, should probably be in prison. And mind you, I have a 3-year-old son who I introduced to him. Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all a personal story time. When I got hired to be the dispatcher, I was dating an idiot. A main idiot. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I think this did help me take calls because, and I'll explain. There I was about 3 weeks into this new career path, going to work in law enforcement, and I realized real quick, taking 911 calls, that I didn't know shit about. Okay? Nothing. I was so young, stupid, naive, all of the adjectives that are not good. Okay? And I have this boyfriend that my dumb ass had decided to live with him. Okay? And I go home about 3 weeks in to being a dispatcher. I go home one night and he pulls me out on the balcony and he says, I need to talk to you. I am super worried. And I'm like, okay, about what? And he's like, I think they're spying on us. Since you went to work there, I've been thinking that I think they're spying on us. I think they took the hospital helicopter, and I don't even think it's running patients anymore. It's not, Jennifer. It's spying on us. They've even painted it. It's camouflage now, and I'm just sitting there like this. Oh, okay. What now? What the hell are you talking about? And he had his weird streaks, but he had never acted like this. He had always seemed normal to me. A little mean, don't get me wrong, but normal for the most part. And so I go back to work, and I'm sitting at work on a Saturday, and this investigator just happened to be logging evidence, and he comes in there and he sits down beside me, and I just said, you know what? I'm just going to tell him what's going on because I don't know what the hell. What do I do? I'm so stupid. And so I'm telling this investigator, I'm like, hey, weird thing. And so I start explaining it. And he looked me dead in my eye, right in my eyeballs. And he said to me, you dumbass, he's on dope. And I was like really aware all of a sudden that I was sitting in law enforcement dispatch. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait. This dude drove my car yesterday. Like, I in 3 weeks, I had seen, I was like, wait a minute. You're telling me that he's not actually acting weird. He's a meth American? And that investigator was like, I said, there ain't no way. How could he have hid it from me for nearly a year? How could he have hid it from me? And I will never forget that investigator looking at me and saying, because you don't know a damn thing about dope. How the hell would you know? And I thought, well, I mean, that's a good point, I guess. So he told me what to look for, and I went home and I cracked the little code to his phone, and I got into his phone, and there were 48 unread text messages, and nearly every one of them said something to the effect of, when you gonna bring me my ice cream? When you gonna bring me my rocky road? And I was like, this motherfucker don't deliver no damn groceries. He is not a good Samaritan. I am so stupid. So I called my daddy and I'm like, I got to get out of this house. Like, I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with him. I want out of this house now, yesterday. So the next day, when boyfriend goes to work, I decide I'm going to sneak out of here. I'm going to pack and I'm going to get out of here, okay? Unfortunately for me, I don't even live in the county that I work for. I live in the next county over. So I don't know none of them law enforcement officers. Not yet. So I'm packing, and some neighbor snitches on me and calls him and says, you know your girlfriend's out here loading a trailer with all her shit? Like, she's out of here, dude. And he comes racing up in his little Ford Ranger. That, I understand how big a damn red flag that is now. He's throwing a fit, and he's like, you better not be taking none of my shit. And then it occurred to me, like, this isn't, oh my God, why are you leaving me? No, this is, you better not be taking none of my shit. I'm like, you ain't got nothing. I'm the one working 2 jobs. You ain't got shit. All of this is in my name. And then saying it out loud to him made me realize how dumb I was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's when you're standing there yelling at somebody going, none of this shit is yours. Everything's in my name. This is all in my credit. I'm the one working 2 jobs. And then I said it all out loud, and I thought to myself, I deserve this. Damn. What in the hell is wrong with you? You have a vagina. You could do anything. And this was a choice. A whole choice. Anyway. I can't go back in time in my brain because it just makes me want to slap myself. So I left after realizing, you know, how many points my IQ had dropped over that last year. And then I had to go back to work, and I had to tell him, yep, you were right. That's exactly what happened. I cracked the code to his cell phone. Of course, the investigator told me how to do that. And I had to admit that he was right about everything. And I moved out overnight. So literally it was like, get hired at a new job and become single and living alone in like less than a month. Less than a month for law enforcement to completely turn my life upside down. But in a good way, I guess. Because I was a walking, talking dumbass. I will say it made me very empathetic during a lot of calls, because I would get calls from these women and they would be like, listen, I don't know how I ended up in this situation. And I would be like, girl, I'm not judging you. I can tell you a story right now would have you sat. You hear me? And same girl, same. How did we end up here? I don't know, but we're leaving. Okay? Pack your shit. A deputy is on their way.
You know how there's that saying that's like, when women go on dates with men, their biggest fear is rape or murder, and when men go on dates with women, their biggest fear is having to pay the full bill and not getting sex out of it. I fully stand by that, but it really made me think for a second, like, men genuinely do not know how good they have it when it comes to dating women. And not just because they don't really have to worry about getting murdered or raped or whatever. Like, not only do you guys get to just, like, you know, pick this woman up and she smells great, she looks great, she's dressed very nicely, but maybe, you know, you go back to her apartment and it's like all nice when you walk in, it smells nice, it's totally clean, her bed is made up. Like, that's not even something that you guys have to think about, you know? I had a man one time show up to a date wearing one of those tank tops that's literally like all the way down, like his nipples were showing. We were in an Olive Garden. Also showed up with a cold, so he was like hacking and coughing, like he was hawking loogies at the table. One time I got invited over to a guy's house and I showed up and his room literally looked like it was out of an episode of Hoarders. Like, no warning at all. I had to use his bathroom at one point, and I go to open the lid of the toilet, and the entire thing is thick black mold, the whole thing. And I walked back in his room, and I was like, hey, do you think you could clean that or something? And he was like, nope, I told my roommate to do it. I'm not doing it unless he does. Another time I got invited over to a guy's house and I walk in and the 2 pieces of furniture that he has are a broken couch and a fucking foldable lawn chair. You know what? That didn't even stop me. None of these things stop me because this is just like literally what I expect out of a man because I can't find anything else. And one time we were sitting on his carpet and I picked my hand up and the entire thing, there was like crumbs imprinted into my hand. And I was like, hey, have you like ever vacuumed this carpet? And he goes, vacuum? And I was like, yeah, like, have you vacuumed? Like, brought a vacuum and, like, you know, sucked this up? And he was like, no, why would I do that? Sir? And then he called me judgmental. Another time I came over to a guy's house, he was like, hey, just so you know, don't use either of my sinks, like his bathroom and his kitchen sink. And I said, why? And he said, because I vomited in both of them and they're both clogged. The toilet is available? One time I was at a guy's house and it was nighttime and we were walking up to his apartment and I accidentally stepped in dog poop and I did not realize it. So when we were inside, I was smelling something. We were both smelling something and I was like, what the fuck is that? Is it your cat? Did your cat poop somewhere? And he was like, no, she would never do that. And then I realized I stepped in dog poop and I was like, well, shit, do you have anything to clean this up with? He did not own a cleaning supply. He didn't own a cleaning supply. So he gave me a house key and shampoo. One time my ex-boyfriend got sick and he vomited all over himself and I had to clean it all up and take him to the hospital. And we got out of the hospital that night, did not shower. Next morning before he goes to work, I'm like, hey, do you think you're going to shower? And he goes, no, I'm going to work. Why would I shower? You vomited all over yourself. I also had to ask him to brush his teeth and he just had to get 3 teeth removed. I just want you to know that. They have like no expectations whatsoever placed on them. It's actually wild. If I invite somebody over to my apartment, I'm cleaning the shit out of that thing. Or I'm just not having anybody over. It's one or the other.
Am I wrong for refusing to do a DNA test to confirm if my father is the father of another child? For context, about 5 years ago, my mom came across a message from a woman claiming my father is the baby daddy to her 3-year-old daughter, and compared photos of her and I when I was about that age to show that we looked alike. However, dismissed getting any DNA test after my father got incarcerated. Now I, 17 female, and my mom recently came across a message tonight from the same woman again claiming my father is the baby daddy to her now 8-year-old daughter. Now that her daughter is older, she has started questioning who her real father is. Now, this is the part that has me a bit skeptical. Her daughter does have the same skin color as my dad. However, every other feature is completely different. My dad has hazel, almost vibrant green eyes, while the mother has bright blue. My mother also has bright blue eyes, and my mother and father's genes resulted in central heterochromia in my eyes. The child has pitch black eyes. Usually, brown eyes are the dominant genes to blue eyes. So how did pitch black eyes suddenly appear on my dad's side of the family? Their eyes are all very vibrant green or gray. Not only do the eyes get me, but the nose shape on both my dad and eyes are the same. However, this woman's daughter has a completely different nose shape. This lady is basically convinced my father is her baby daddy, and even said tonight if my father wasn't willing to give a DNA test, asked if I would be willing to give a DNA test. Yet she has not even told us her name. I'm torn in between a decision, but my father is actively in my life, and I know that if he knew he had another child, he would also try to be in this child's life. Only thing is, she lives 2 states away. Getting a DNA test would do what? Get child support? She's financially stable with the husband and 2 other kids. So why now is she reaching out after 5 years? Reassurance is real and I 100% support it. However, in that big time gap, what was the mother telling her daughter? With all of that in consideration, I told her I wouldn't be comfortable giving a DNA sample. She told my mother that we're ruining her daughter's life by not allowing her to know her real father. However, I just can't believe her, as if this was my father's child. Why didn't she reach out sooner? I'm not sure anymore. I just feel like an ass, but my guilt just tells me something fishy is going on. So, am I the asshole? Okay, she has an update. She says, so wow, I've talked to my dad. He is aware that this woman has reached out again. My mom told him this morning and showed screenshot of the woman's messages. He's going to get the DNA test done and out of the way, but is also a bit skeptical because she hasn't pursued anything legal for the past 5 years. I've spoken to some of my personal friends and family about what I should be doing, and it just hurts me that if this is my real half-sister, I haven't been allowed to be involved with her. I'm going to talk more with my dad when he gets off work, but the next update will be the DNA test results. I'm just not sure how long that will take.